Hello, welcome to this Capricorn Full Moon ritual. We're going to be talking about the energy of the Capricorn Full Moon. I'm going to pull some tarot cards. We're also going to be doing some spellcraft, which you're going to need something like, I've got a little bit of clay here, a little bit of fine clay. You could use like air dry clay or even, something like blue tack will work. But if, manipulating something is not possible for you, I'll give some other options as well of what we're going to do for that. Did I say meditation? We're going to do a little meditation as well, some journal prompts. So plenty to get our teeth stuck into. So yeah, say hello if you're here in the chat and let me know if you can see me and hear me because, as with all good live streams, they have to start a little bit like a seance. So let's do that. I need to just turn off this light which is shining in my face. I know I say this every single time, but it really gets on my nerves. So hello, welcome. I'm Jessica. I help people find their connection to their purpose and to who they really are at the core, really, using moonline journaling, astrology, tarot, all of the witchy stuff, basically. I'm a ADHD witch based in South Wales, which is my ancestral homeland, and I try and bring kind of grounded, practical approach to all the witchy things here on my channel, Jessica and the Moon. So if that sounds good to you, then please stick around and subscribe if you're not subscribed already. I'd like to never say that. That's really, I feel like I was feeling so organised today because I even had like a, before we start, kind of banner going on, which hopefully you saw. So let me see if anyone's saying hello in the chat. Yes, hello, Shan. Hi, Megan. Hi, Thea. Hi, Liz. Yay. Oh, I'm echoing. Oh, that's really annoying. Hang on. I think I might be able to solve that. 2 seconds. I think it's because... Let me take that down. Okay, is that better? Hopefully that is better. I haven't got... I'm trying to use like my non-mic'd setup, but I have got a new mic, but I haven't got like the right mounts and things to get that sorted out yet. So I will be upgrading all of that stuff. There's just a lot of moving parts. I'm learning all this stuff as I go along. So yeah, the witching stuff, not a problem. The tech stuff, not so easy. Better. Oh, thank goodness. That's great. Thank you. Okay, so hopefully you can hear me now. It's still kind of quiet, right? Let me see if I can turn that up then. Let me see. Okay, so in theory that should be louder, although it kind of looks like it's peeking out a bit now, but hopefully that is okay. Okay. At least it's not echoing, so hopefully that's good. And I have turned it up a little bit now, so hopefully that's good. And I've got a new mic. Let me show you. I splashed out on like a fancy mic. And I don't know how to work it or set it up yet. And it turns out I need like a different sort of screw that I need to attach it to my thing. So I haven't been able to get that set up, unfortunately, today. But let's not worry about it. Let's just go into the ritual. So we're going to start first of all with the shift into sacred space. So well done for making the time to kind of be here. I know sometimes finding time to do things that maybe don't seem like outwardly productive straight away can be tricky, so massive kudos. This is the Capricorn Full Moon ritual that so it's very much encoded in, so everything that we do is going to be very aligned with his specific kind of Capricorn energies, so it'll be effective, I promise, in surprising ways sometimes as well. So I'd love to hear about those after as well. Okay, I know, a big girl mic. Hi Michelle. Oh yeah, I'm sorry about the sound being not very good. I think I want to try and get, like I say, I want to get this setup perfected, but I can't. But for now, let's just shift into sacred space. Take a couple of moments just to kind of ground, be really present, whatever it is that you're doing, even if you're going to be doing something, while you're listening, not just kind of like sat fully focused on what it is we're doing here. At least just take a couple of moments just to kind of like check in with yourself. We are going to be doing like a little guided visualization meditation in a moment as well, but just to land here basically. So you might want to put like one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart, and just take a breath, just be present. And it's nice sometimes to have like a visual marker of shifting into sacred space as well. So if you want to light a candle, I'm going to light some incense. So I'm going to do that on my desk. Hi, KJ. Okay. So we are now shifted, we are into sacred space. Okay, lovely. So like I said, we are going to just dive straight into the meditation visualization because it's going to really help you to ground straight into this energy. So if you want to get yourself comfy, and you know that might mean sitting down, it might mean lying down, it might be stopping doing the dishes or unloading the dishwasher, which are the sort of things I do when I'm listening to podcasts and things like that. And just take it, like, this is literally gonna be like 5 minutes, and then even if you don't do the rest of it, this is gonna be really, really helpful. So I'm going to, well, bring up, I've got like some notes of what I want to take you through. So yeah, get yourself comfy. I'll bring up my notes to lead you through this meditation. Okay. So wherever you are, if it's safe to do so, you can close your eyes. You can place your hands like the same on your heart, on your belly if you want to, or just by your sides, whichever feels most comfortable for you. Just become really aware of your physical body. You may be able to feel your breath moving in and out. You may notice you can sense the temperature of the room on your skin. And we're going to start by bringing our attention to the skin, this membrane that covers over all of our bodies, a boundary, an interface between what is inside and what is outside. So just take a couple of moments to bring your awareness to your skin. You may focus on a specific area. You might be feeling like the skin on your face or on your hands, maybe on your feet. You may be feeling how some parts of your skin are in contact with something, maybe with clothes, maybe with a chair, the ground. You may even be able to feel the skin on your scalp and how it comes into contact with your hair, how the hair comes through the skin on our scalp. You may become aware of where your skin meets edges, like nostrils, eyes, lips. My grandfather used to say, "Why do we have lips?" And I'd be like, "I don't know. And he'd say to stop our mouths from fraying at the edges. So yeah, be aware of those edges. You may start to become aware of your skin being porous. There are tiny holes in this membrane that covers us, that separates us from the inside and the outside. These pores, while they don't breathe in the same way that our lungs do, they are filtering things from the inside, like sweat, or things coming from the outside, like maybe a body oil or something. Our skin barrier is not like an impermeable barrier. It is permeable, it is porous. Receiving and releasing. Now we're going to just travel in our minds back to some different environments that you and your skin have been in. Some of these environments may have been nourishing. You may feel nice sensations on your skin, someone that you love hugging you, maybe someone brushing your hair gently. Some of the environments may have been harsh. Perhaps you felt your skin was too thin, too porous, and that you could easily be hurt in these environments. Just take yourself back, not in your body in these experiences, but witnessing you in your body in these experiences. So some may be from childhood, some may be more recent. Just do a little tour of a couple of these times and places. In some of these environments you may have felt safe and able to expand, to fully inhabit your own space, your own skin, comfortable in your skin, safe in your skin. In other environments you may have felt that you needed to protect, to have an armor almost, a barrier. Our skin though is not a solid barrier. It's not made of metal. It's living, it's breathing. And so sometimes hurtful things have come in through our skin. I just want to invite you to take a moment to allow those things, because our skin is porous, to allow those things, if they can, to just gently seep back out. Because that is the beauty of our skin. It's made for exchange, for movement, for flow. So our skin forms the outer structure of our bodies. It's usually linked with the sign of Cancer, which is where the sun is now. Also sometimes with the planet Venus. Also sometimes with the moon. But the internal structure of our bodies is our skeleton, our bones, and these are linked with Capricorn. When we think of the difference between our bones and our skin, Skin and bones, bone and skin. How do you relate to these two structures that are both intimate and also sometimes weird or horrifying if we see them in contexts we're not familiar with? Both can be protective. Both are porous to some degree. And it's not just our bodies that have skin and bones. Well, then it's our bodies that have skin and bones, but we can also metaphorically think of other things in our lives, other structures, other relationships, other entities that have structures that are created. It's like relationships, workplaces, habits even, identities. All of these are structures that can sometimes become rigid. We can notice how these structures, like our bodies, like our skin and our bones, are not eternal. They are temporal. They have a beginning and an end. And sometimes some of these structures that we've poured so much energy into need to be dissolved or broken down again so that we can reclaim our energy from those spaces, from those structures. Perhaps you can think of something in your life now which you've poured a lot of energy into. It could be your job, it could be a specific relationship, it could be an identity. But it's something that, even though you've put a lot of energy into it, it doesn't feel good to you anymore. And that's okay. That's part of the journey. That's learning, that's growth. But in order to reclaim our energy from these structures, we need to let them break back down so that we can bring our energy out of them. So if you have got something specific that you were thinking of, you can see it now in your mind's eye and see that form softening, perhaps cracks appearing, perhaps it just poofs into dust, and your energy that was inside that structure rushes back to you through your skin into your body, for you to use again for something else. So this is not about shaming or rejecting things that have been before. It's about reclaiming our resources from those things so that we can build something else, build something new that serves us now in the present and in the future. So you may have more than one thing that you want to do this exercise with. And you can most definitely return to this meditation, to this concept whenever you want to. So just return your attention to your skin again now, porous alive, glowing, safe, beautiful, soft. And just say to yourself, either aloud or in your mind, I call my energy back. I call my energy home. And when you're ready, open your eyes. You've returned, so just get yourself back into the present, into the moment. So I wanted to start with that meditation today because for lots of reasons, which I'll try and explain some of them. But the main thing is, with this Capricorn full moon, we've got a really great opportunity to look at structures and how they may be no longer serving us. And so some really useful magic with this moon is to break down those structures. And like when we look around us in nature, we see this happening all the time. You know, in our physical world, nothing is nothing is ultimately created or destroyed. It's just transferred. You know, energy isn't created or destroyed. It's transferred from form to form. And so when we put a lot of our energy into something and it's served its purpose, then we can, and we should, I don't like to use the word should too often because obviously it's up to you what you want to do, but we can let those structures dissolve and then we can call our energy back. Are you welcome, Michelle? Okay, so I'm going to switch the camera now to show you the chart for this moon and talk a little bit about the kind of details of this moon. I'm not going to go super detailed into it. I do that a bit more in the Moonwise membership. I know quite a few of you here in the chat are already in the membership, so you will be having that very soon because we are in the lead up to the full moon where we'll be having a new goddess step forward for us and the astrology. But I just want to share just like a little bit. So let me swap over to my desk. Okay. Cool. So here I've actually printed out, although my printer is running out of ink, so it should be more like a kind of peachy colour, which is like for me quite skin coloured actually, which is funny considering wasn't thinking of that when I was making. This is the Capricorn Full Moon Guide, which is available on my website. I've linked it in the description down below as well, but it just tells us a little bit about Capricorn energy in general. It also has some guidance for each rising sign so that you can see like what's my specific rising sign and then see where this full moon is activating in your life, in your chart. So that's really, really helpful. And it has got some like ritual suggestions, some keywords and some journal prompts that you can work with. Also some like journal ephemera as well, so you can create some journal pages. Like I usually do that for the full moon. I've got my journal here. So there was one. I just saw this. There you go. So this was the Sagittarius full moon, which was on June the 11th. So I created this page using, like I used some washi and things like that as well, but I also used the ephemera from this guide to make this page. I like to have like the information about the astrology. I like to have some cards, like we will be pulling some cards. I've got my Guardian of the Night tarot out to do that with. And I like to make some plans that are on point with the energy. So generally Capricorn energy has got that very structured, almost like it's like ambitious. It's got a long reaching longevity to it when we have that Capricorn energy. It is usually about like work, what it is that we're building. And I always find it really like, we get the Capricorn new moon at the beginning of the year, well, you know, sort of December, January time when we are embarking on the year, and we're usually like kind of setting up our goals and plans, our ideas for what we're going to be doing in the year. And then when we get to the Capricorn full moon, which is always around like this time of the year, like the midpoint, it's about then like kind of seeing where we've come and kind of like refining our vision and seeing what we're going to kind of work on next, what way we're going to kind of go for the rest of the year. So generally, like I say, it's about work. It's about like not necessarily like our job, but like doing the work that we want to make the changes that we want to bring into the world. You know, it's like about taking incremental steps towards a goal kind of thing. So when we get to the Capricorn full moon, it's got that kind of check-in, that mid-year check-in kind of vibes to it anyway. But when we have got this specific Capricorn full moon, it's like configured to, well, it's been ruled by Saturn, which is just at the beginning of Aries here, and is literally like just about to station retrograde. And Neptune also very close to it, which is already retrograde. So they're very, very close together. And so we've got the kind of Saturnian energy, which is about kind of like crystallizing things, building things, creating things, structures, discipline, all that kind of stuff. But then we've also got this Neptune energy, which wants us to kind of like blur the boundaries, dissolve the structures, break things down. And it's all happening in that sign of Aries where we've got initiation energy, we've got like fresh starts kind of coming. And I really feel like in this moon, this specific Capricorn full moon that we're having on the 10th of July is going to be very much about letting things break down, reclaiming our resources, reclaiming our energy out of those so we can then put them into new things. Do you see what I mean? It's like compost, you know, it's like when something dies in our world, it rots down and then that feeds new life, you know. And so if we go through our lives giving our energy into like different projects, into different relationships, into, you know, all the kinds of things that we do, and never claim any of it back, we will like gradually get depleted as we go through our life. But we can, even as we're living this life, we can let things break down, you know, and claim energy back from them. So I'm not saying that we claim it back from like everything. Obviously we need to leave energy in certain things, like in the relationships that we are still invested in the like projects that we're still invested in, yes. But like certainly once you get to sort of like 30 plus in your life, there will be lots of things that aren't, that you like are not actively useful in your life anymore now, and we can break them down and pull the energy back out of them. So that is what our spellcraft today is going to be about. So hopefully you've got, I was a bit late on letting you know what you needed, but hopefully you did get the memo and have got like something moldable. I should have got this out a little bit sooner actually. I could have been molding this while I was talking. So I've got like a little bit of like Fimo or Fimo, like plasticine clay. So that's what I'm going to use. But you can use like salt dough is actually really nice for this because it's actually much more satisfying to mold. You don't have to kind of do the starting off, which I'm going to have to do, you know, of like the warming and the molding kind of stuff. So let's get that kind of going. And you could use like Play-Doh, you could use blue tack, even anything that's like kind of moldable into a shape is what we're looking for. If like the physical dexterity is not accessible for you to do that, then you can do everything that I'm going to explain in your head. Or if you don't have something to hand, you know, to do that, you can do this in your head as well. So I'm going to try and warm this up and get it get it moving, get it working. Yeah. So yeah, let me know if you've got something and you are using it. If you're currently live with me now in the chat, if you're watching this later, you could leave a comment. That would be really cool as well. So I've been doing these for, I think this is the third one now that I've done these live rituals for the full moon. And I actually really like them. I think it's almost for me like being able to do in-person events, which I used to do quite a bit of before COVID. And then since COVID, I have hardly done anything at all. So it's kind of all gone online, but I feel like this has got the energy of the in-person. Okay. Oh, Frodo wants to go out, so I'm going to go and let him out and I'll keep moulding my clay. Okay, here you go. Good boy. Okay, Shan, squishy, no squishy. Is it like, can you shape it, Shan? Because that's the only thing, but you can imagine shaping it if you can't, because we are going to be like making this into some shapes. But yeah, just the kind of the physical squishing, if you are able to do that, is like, there's a reason why squishies are for stress relief as well. I think during this like Cancer season that we're in now with the sun, there's been a lot of I've noticed a lot of people kind of lower energy than usual as well. So I felt like this was really on point to help with that at this point of the year. So I know this is not the sort of spell you're going to find in a spell book, but it is effective. Oh, KJ's using some sparkly silver Fimo. That sounds very fun. Yeah, mine's just like plain creamy colour, which is not very exciting. But when I went to look at the clay, a lot of it had kind of dried up and looked a bit crappy. So I thought a new one would be good. Okay, so let me just explain a little bit about, oh, hi Nicole, what we're going to be doing. So the way that this works is we're going to use the clay to represent something in our lives, like a structure or a relationship, or it can, you know, anything. If you know what you want to be breaking down, you could drop that in the chat to give people some ideas, because I know sometimes it can be hard to think of the things on the spot, but the same as with meditation, you can return back to this later if you want to as well. So we're going to use it to make the thing, and then we're going to visualize ourselves, well, not visualize ourselves, we're going to like physically, if you're able to, squish it back down. And as we're squishing it back down, we're feeling that energy release back to us. Yeah, so like you can literally, this is really useful if like you've had past relationships with people. Like it doesn't have to be physical relationships, intimate relationships, it can be like friends and things like that as well, that have drained you, that still have like energy left in them, even though like you've poured energy into them, but you want to claim that back. It's really effective for doing that. So you can just like kind of make the shape of, imagine you're making the shape of a person, like your friend, and then you can just squash it. It is not harmful to the friend. What it is doing is removing your own energy from that situation. You're pulling your energy back out of that situation. And also sometimes it will enable the energy of the other person to also refer back to them as well. John says again, like it's like skin. Yeah, yes, I know, that's funny, isn't it? Yes, and yeah, Shan, you can definitely use concepts as well, like like that's why I said identities, because this is also really helpful for identities. And with that, you just make something that represents that identity to you. Like if it's like you know, you were winning prizes for being clever as a kid or something like that, then you might make like a cup or something like that, you know, like a or a medal or something, and then squish it back down. But once you start then usually you'll find there'll be lots of things that can be used. So you can come back to this, and that's the lovely thing about the clay, especially if you have got you know, something to keep it in. You can come back to this. You can come back to this, and it's probably even more effective like right on the full moon. Like we're doing this 5 days before the full moon, but the timing is still good for us now. Oh wow, Amy's got a relationship that's currently ending. Yes. So yeah, that's something that is you can do, you know. So you can make the clay into something that represents that relationship. And it's like, we're not making art here, we're not sculpting, you know, we're just making like a representation of it, putting our energy into making the representation of it, and then breaking it, you know, pushing it back down and feeling that energy flood back to us like we did in the meditation. KJ says self-doubt, you no longer need to suck my energy. Yeah, so how do you make self-doubt physical? How does it, think about like how you feel. Like sometimes you can just make a you know, and you can even take, you know, like you can take a something and like write it into the clay if you want to, you know. So mine's almost warmed up enough that it will be usable. So I think I am going to do a past friend relationship that is no longer, but was a very long, like this is from my childhood. So I'm going to do that. I haven't quite got like with all of these rituals, this is the, like I said, the third one now. It still feels weird like doing kind of spellcraft on over Zoom, not Zoom, but like on YouTube. So it's like it is a bit strange, but hopefully it's useful and you'll get the ideas and the things, you know, the idea of how to do it. Okay. So I'm going to start, probably could do with a little bit more warming up, but it's definitely getting there now. So I'm going to just start forming, and you'll be able to see this is just like a very basic. And you know, I'm actually going to do, I'm going to make 2. And I'm going to make me and my friend, and I'm going to kind of smoosh us together, and then I'm going to smoosh the whole thing. Yes, KJ, so that's a really great idea, and it's actually something I was going to say to you at the end, like especially if you use air dry clay, you can, like after you've done like a session of well, you don't even have to do a session, you could literally just do one thing and literally physically transform it into something that is like the opposite of the thing, or represents what you want instead of what you don't want, because that's, you know, Capricorn is about that. So yes. In case you can't see the chat, KJ is saying, I like the idea of squishing it down and then remoulding it into a heart for myself and bake it for my altar. So that's, you know, that's one of the, and look, if you use salt dough as well, you can leave it to dry, or you can like plait it into different shapes and things like that, which is nice as well. So I'm just making like very rough representations of people here. I'm not even going to put like arms or anything on them. Like you can make really detailed if you want to, but you don't need to for this to work. It's, oh, and Frodo wants to come back in. He's going to have to wait a sec until I've done this. So I want to make it just representative. So once I've made it, so I've got, this is made as far as I'm concerned now, even though no one would really know. It looks like 2 peanuts or something stuck together. I'm now going to like see this as the relationship that I am going to be breaking back down, taking my energy back from. So just kind of look at it and see it take form. You might even like see the clay physically like change, like in your mind's eye kind of thing, but sometimes it almost like takes on shapes you weren't expecting, can sometimes reveal some information about that as well, about that relationship. And then once it's really clear, I like to do it quite quickly. Just like I take my energy back, and I feel the energy like up my arms, you know, from my fingers up my arms into my body. And it's gone. I've got my energy back. And you might feel like I get quite warm when I do this. Like obviously I'm moulding the clay, so that also makes me a bit warm. But the energy returning, and like it's best not to do it too late at night if you're going to do this again as well. So like it's not that great for like a late night full moon ritual, because sometimes you can't sleep after it because you've like reclaimed all this energy and then you're like bouncing off the walls. So you might also need to do some grounding and things like that after doing this. So you can also like make yourself like say you saw yourself in a certain way and you no longer, like it was a way that basically other people had kind of told you that you were, so you can just kind of like make a really rough human shape, like like that. And you can like just write on or just imagine that stuff, and then, you know, squash, take it back, take it back. Shan says, wow, even just imagining that worked. Yes, yeah, it works. Yeah, Katie's tingly skin. How about the rest of you guys? How are you finding it? Okay. It's sometimes good as well, like if you have, I do it sometimes with like old homes that you've lived in, that you've put a lot of work, like if you've done like renovation work, or if you've like put you know, like you've decorated and things like that in there. Like our homes can contain a lot of energy, and if we're no longer living in them, then it's better to take that energy back out, you know, so that we can use it. So it looks more like a bird's beak, but what I'm trying to do is like a house with a little roof. Okay, so this is a previous home, so I'm visualizing that home now here. And then once you can see it clearly, maybe see yourself in there as well. You might even see yourself, I'm seeing myself now doing the, like I was painting. And then it's gone. Energy back. Okay. Okay. So I am going to leave mine there. I'm going to wrap it back up nice and tight in there, in here, because now I can use this over the next few days before the full moon for other things. But if you're kind of like stuck into it, you can totally carry on with doing that. But like I said, just be aware, maybe not late at night is not the best time to do it, that kind of thing. So I've got some journal prompts for you for this that are keyed into the energy of this full moon. It might also help to trigger some ideas. Oh, hang on, let me swap it back to so I can see you. Go. So I've designed these prompts to maybe help bring out some other things you might want to work on as well. Like the thing with any kind of Saturn ruled moon is that there's usually some work to be done, and so when we do that work, Saturn kind of smiles on us, you know, and we can have that blessing as well of doing, because we show that we're like willing to put the work in. Okay, so let me get these prompts. Maybe I'll drop these into the chat as well. Okay, so the first one, let me copy and paste it into the chat. So it's, what have I been building that no longer feels aligned? Oh, Nicole, goosebumps. Nicole said I didn't know what to do, but then I suddenly made a ring with a diamond. Then I broke that ring. Then I formed a perfect ball. It's my divorce from many years ago. Now I'm a perfect whole again. That literal goosebumps, Nicole. Yeah. And this is how like practical magic, like earth magic, natural magic works, is that we make the representation of the thing, and it has a deep effect. And like some people say, oh, it's just having an effect on our psyche. Okay, if that's the case, then that's fine, that works too. I think it's more than that, but yeah, there's a lot. So I put the first one into the chat. Is, what have I been building that no longer feels aligned? That's one of the prompts. And you know, this can help to identify then like where you've been putting, it's trying to kind of figure out, what have I been putting my energy into, basically, that is actually not helpful. And usually there's quite a few things, you know, and it's not even like that there's been loads of energy put into it, but even if we take like tiny little bits back from all of these different places, it can have a really, like it comes to quite a big total. Yeah. And then where is my energy escaping? So that kind of like ties in with that. So I don't know if I'll copy and paste that one in because it's kind of very similar. And then this one is more into where we want to be putting our energy. So it's like, what is the mountain I'm climbing right now? I use the mountain because it ties in with that Saturn energy again, with that Capricorn energy, because Capricorn's the mountain goat, well, sometimes it's the sea goat, but it's got that kind of energy of like climbing, building kind of thing. So it's like, what's the mountain I'm climbing, or what am I building right now? Is this still the right thing? So we're kind of trying to like tune into, we're going to pull some cards in a minute as well to see where there might be some like blocks and things like that. So I'm going to pop that one into the chat as well if you want to journal on that. And then we've got this Saturn Neptune, and like this has been ongoing for quite a long time because we're having Saturn and Neptune together in Pisces. Now we've got Saturn and Neptune together in Aries. We're going to have Saturn and Neptune again together in Pisces. And then we're going to have Saturn and Neptune again together in Aries. Not exact until next year when it happens in Aries. But we've still got that Saturnian energy which wants to kind of crystallize things, which wants to make things a structure. And then we've got the Neptune energy which wants to kind of blur things, dissolve things, break things down. So that can be difficult energy. But if we proactively work with it, we can actually pull the better manifestations of that energy out, basically. So what Neptune gives us is the opportunity to really kind of like dream really big, which I was talking about this in the new moon video as well. It's like we've got that anything's possible kind of feel with Neptune. Like if I can dream it, that's the Neptune side. And then we've got the Saturn, I can do it. So if I can dream it, I can do it. We kind of need to start with that dreaming part. Yeah, so what the question I've got for you is, what does a grounded version of my dream look like? Not a small version of my dream, a grounded version, a version of it that is like, that I can take those practical steps towards. Yeah, so you can start from the big dream, and then it's just kind of like working out, like not necessarily every single detailed step, but a plan, basically, to start moving towards that. And that is the vibe for this month in general. So yeah, I'm going to pop that in. And then the last one is just like really just going straight to the point. How can I call my energy back now? So I've shown you a way of doing it. Like you can do it using that physical Spellcraft. But there are other ways as well. Like you can do like cord cuttings. You can take a ritual bath where you like cleanse yourself of other people's negative energy, and then you can also then run a new bath and put anything that's kind of a drawing kind of herb or smell or anything that kind of wants to draw that energy to you, and then you can be in there and let that water kind of act as like a conductor for that energy coming back into you through your skin. Again, thinking about that skin. There's lots of ways that we can do it. So you kind of, and like we can pull some cards as well to see like what would be a good option for that. Okay. So let's pull some cards then. Let's get the cards and see what they've got to say. So you're all very quiet. So either you're journaling now, or I think there's quite a big lag as well between me like talking and what's going on in the chat and stuff as well. Let me change this so that you can see the cards better. Okay. So this is the Guardian of the Night Tarot. I love these cards. They've got quite battered, unfortunately, because they are quite like thick. It's a Hay House deck, and I find they do tend to... I'm not like super delicate with the shuffling, so that does happen. So let's give those... Oh, I see that there's ones... Oh, Justice is turned around there for some reason. So yeah, they're kind of tricky to shuffle, but we will go with it. And I'm going to use the prompts I did make a note of which ones I wanted to do. So what structures are dissolving now? So this is going to be a collective reading for all of us. I'm going to ask what structures are dissolving now. Like, we are definitely in a time of great change, and lots of things are breaking down. Some of the things are starting to break down, and as a result of that, they kind of like doing the more not so helpful parts of Saturn and really kind of like digging their heels in and trying to hold on to like power and structure and form, I suppose. So it'll be interesting to see like what structures are dissolving now. And then how is our energy still bound up in this? Because sometimes we need to identify that. So asking that question, how is my energy still bound up in this situation? Because if you've tried to call your energy back, especially, and it doesn't feel like it's coming back, it's usually because we are still sending our energy into that. We're still like investing in that somehow, or we're still kind of like investing time, energy into that situation. So it can be interesting to see, to kind of call ourselves out on that, basically. And then what will help us reclaim and redirect our energy, so back to ourselves, back to our projects that we want to be doing it on now. So that might be like a mindset shift. It might be like specific action that we can take. It might be a practice. You know, there's lots of, oh my gosh, I'm throwing the cards everywhere. Okay. And I'll take a photo of the cards as well. I'll share them over in our Discord. I've linked the Discord. I'm pretty certain, because I did a pretty comprehensive video description for this. So if you'd like to join our like witchy Discord space, then you're welcome to do that. It's not just for members. There is just there's a members section, which is only for members, but there's a lot of space that is for everybody as well. So you'd be very welcome to join us. Oh my gosh. I think my hands are a little bit clayey still as well, so that's not helping the shuffling situation. Or maybe that's just an excuse. So, oh my gosh. That's so funny. I was just thinking, what structures are dissolving now? I was like looking back at the questions, and like this, the world card pops out. It's like, oh, the world is dissolving now. That is the structure that is dissolving. I'm actually going to keep that card because it did like pop right out just as I was asking that question. So we will talk about that a little bit more in a second. But let's get our other two cards. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. Right. Interesting. Really interesting set of cards. So what structures are dissolving now? And we've got the world. And I think it's like very literal in this respect. It's not the natural world necessarily though. Although obviously because of lots of things, a lot of things caused by humans, there are a lot of structures in the natural world that are actually dissolving now as well. You know, we're in a whole new era. But what is beautiful about the world card, like, this is a major ending that is happening. That's what's breaking down. But it's also like when we get to the world, it's a new beginning as well. And this is like echoing a lot of our cards. Like when I pulled the cards for July, we got 2 10s coming out in there, you know, showing again endings of cycles. We're in an ending phase now, and that's fine, you know, because things have to end and things begin again, you know. So the structures that are dissolving now is like all of them. On like kind of globally, things are breaking down, but new things, beautiful things are emerging and being born out of this. I love that there's bees on this card. It's so beautiful because it's like that idea of like working together. And even though you're really small, you know, we're all individually very small, we can work together to create amazing things, you know. And like bees are like fundamental to life here, you know. They help, like they pollinate the food, you know, all this kind of stuff, you know. There's so many little tiny micro actions that we can do. So I feel like this card, even though it might seem like it's hopeless in a lot of ways, it's like the world is coming crashing down around us, we can actually, we have more power, more ability to like, yeah, those micro actions than we think we do, basically. Yeah. And then how is our energy still bound up in this? And we've got this major coming out again, and it's the Hanged Man. I think, is it a possum? Interestingly, with like a sunflower behind it, which is very kind of like Leo season coded, which we're stepping into now. Well, not now, but soon. And it's like when we have the Hanged Man, there's almost like a necessary kind of like waiting. It's like we're still holding on. We're still holding on to see if things might work themselves out, you know? But then there's the other aspect of the Hanged Man as well, which is about taking a new perspective. It's about like seeing things from a different angle, seeing things from a new way. So even though we might be, all of those layers are coming in, I feel like what we're doing is maybe we're kind of afraid, you know, rightly so, because there's a lot of things to be afraid of right now. But we're also kind of taking a moment to figure out different ways of seeing, like, how can we see this in a different way? So, you know, exactly like that with the world. It's like, yes, the world is kind of really crazy right now. How can we see this in a different way? Like, it's literally looking back at this world card as well. So, and like with that sunflower as well, I feel like there is a lot more like hope in there than we sometimes maybe feel at times, you know, like maybe there's more hope, there's more opportunities, especially when we work together in communities, then maybe it feels like at the moment. So yeah, we kind of feel a little bit in limbo, and that's why our energy is still difficult to extract back out. But if we put our energy into doing these micro actions, into building supportive communities with people who understand and people who are kind and who want peace in the world, you know, that is actually really, really powerful. You know, these two majors coming out of showing us that this is a really powerful action that we can take. And then what practical or mindset shift or action can we take which will help us to reclaim and redirect our energy? And this is like a weird a weird card for this. We've got the Four of Pentacles. I like in some ways not weird, but I mean this specific. Like if it's just been like the Rider-Waite-Smith Four of Pentacles, I'd be saying, okay, we just like conserve our resources. We guard our resources. We make sure that we've got like the basics covered kind of thing. And we almost like kind of prepping, you know, almost like kind of like prepping vibe. That's very Four of Pentacles and the Rider-Waite-Smith. But in this Four of Pentacles, we've got little baby rabbits with pentacles. We've got like what looks like the mama rabbit up here, like separated from the burrow. These are like kind of below. And then we've got a fox, which is traditionally like a hunter of rabbits in here with the like precious resources. You know, the most precious resources are children. But it doesn't look like it's actually like harming them, and they don't actually look afraid. So that it's a really weird take on this card in a lot of ways. And we've also got these two birds here as well, which I'm not sure what birds they are. But it is like under a crescent moon, and it looks like almost like the fox could almost be like babysitting these Four of Pentacles. And I wonder if, like, I'm not sure what her take is. Maybe we'll read her take on it in a moment as well. I haven't used this deck for a little while. I don't remember what she says about this specific card. But what I am taking from this is that there can be some surprising allies in this new world that is coming in now. But I think also what I'm taking from like this both and with this card, I'm also taking that be mindful about who is having access to my resources, to my most precious things, you know. I don't need to invite people in that are unsafe, you know. I don't need to protect those things that are unsafe. There is also like a lot of bramble or thorn going across here as well, with that idea of like kind of a protection that needs to be on this. So I wonder if there is some like, from a practical aspect, is like what protections can I have in place? Be mindful about who I trust, but also like this rabbit looks like she's out like under the like if the fox is babysitting and is fine, then sometimes there can be allies in unexpected places that can help me to fill my own cup as well, is what I'm seeing with this card. Let me just check in with the chat. Okay, I feel like there's a lot of thinking going on. Chances, yeah, we're still here just thinking and feeling. Oh, put the tarot prompts in? Yeah, sure, I'll pop them in now. Okay, I'll put them into the chat. I don't know if it all, yeah, it has kind of like made them a bit weird, but it's okay. Oh, yes, Liz. So Liz is, yes, giving us the astrology. Yes, and we've got, that's so spot on. Thanks, Liz. Yeah. So the World card is connected with Saturn in Golden Dawn thinking. And we've also got the Hangman representing Neptune. And that, like, they're not quite in that conjunction yet, but that is kind of coming. So perhaps also it's telling us that we will have more clarity. Like perhaps we can come out of this Hanged Man when we do get into like the beginning of next year and we have got that conjunction happening, and then they're going to start to kind of like separate from each other then as well. That's so, yeah, like again, you know, like when these things happen and then people are like, oh yeah, no, like it doesn't really mean anything. You're like, okay, but that's a really big coincidence. Yes, and Liz saying the Four in Pentacles is the Sun in Capricorn. So going back to what I was saying, like talking about that Capricorn cycle, like the Capricorn cycle began you know, back near the solstice, and now we're kind of at the full moon point of that kind of that Capricorn cycle. So yeah, kind of tying us back to the beginning of the year as well, and maybe also to like the next 6 months. It feels like this is a more long running work that we're doing here. You know, this is a more long running thing that we're doing. Louise said, oh, hi Louise. The past 2 months I've seen so many bumblebees. I thought they were solitary, but I've seen many flying in and out of nests in the ground, bee communities. Yes, and so interesting that they're nesting in the ground as well. Like with that, this is what we got, this idea of kind of like taking cover, maybe kind of staying a little bit more hidden, a little bit more underground. Like when we think of movements being underground, they are like kind of counterculture, I suppose. And I think that's the sort of communities that are going to be really powerful in this age that we're in now. Yeah. Let's have a look what she says about the Four of Pentacles. When it came time to create an image for the Four of Pentacles, I thought about the nimble fox losing its agility because it's consumed by the fear of failing to keep the quick-moving rabbit it caught earlier in the evening. In trying to restrict the rabbit, it also restricts itself. Okay, so the story of the card then is more that this fox has been out and has hunted these rabbits, but instead of like kind of killing them, it's caught them and brought them back, and it's now trying to kind of like herd them, protect them, but it's really hard to do that because they're all like scattering everywhere. So that's giving us another perspective on this as well. When the Four of Pentacles appears, you may need to examine how control or your need for it impacts a situation. Are you or someone else holding on to something so tightly that there's no room for growth? An example of this may be someone who cannot let go of tasks at work, who's unwilling to relinquish control to a co-worker or hire help. And yet that idea of control is also very Saturnian, you know. It's got that idea of rigid structures sometimes, you know, of like things going a certain specific way, and maybe we need to let go of that. We do need to like be able to do that release and allow things to finish, really, to have an ending so that we can have new beginnings as well. So yeah, this may in the end cause stagnation or less productivity, and like a keyword for the Hanged Man can also, like in the shadow, can also be stagnation sometimes. Sometimes we can get stagnant, especially if we're pouring our energy into all of these things that aren't actually good for us. The question you may want to ask for yourself is, are you saving or investing? And so the difference between saving and investing, one grows, the other stays the same. It's like if we're saving, if we're kind of like stuffing our money under our mattress kind of thing, that's very different from putting our money to do things. And like, you know, I'm saying money, but it's also about like our time, our attention, all these things that are valuable. We can choose how we want to spend them, invest them, or guard them. So the rabbit brings abundance. So call on this energy, but don't just restrict it. Let it run free. Release the fox to do what it does best. Be nimble and clever. When you use the fox and the rabbit in harmony, you will have the skills needed to bring about a positive shift, and with it, a bountiful harvest. Okay, so yeah, bringing together. So a little bit like what I was saying with this card. It's like unlikely companions, but they have both got that kind of speed about them. They've got that agility about them. Also, they're quite playful as well sometimes, both of these animals as well. Yeah. Okay. So just having a look at the chat. It looks like nothing else has been said there now. I'm going to just switch back to me just for the end, because I've got a little something to read you at the end of this ritual. I hope that you find we have gone a little bit over time. It's 6 minutes past, but we're pretty good for time. I've pulled out a piece from what year? The 2020 Wee Moon, which was actually written by Lucy Pierce, who is the head kind of creatrix behind the Womancraft publishing, and she's written lots of her own books, but she also publishes like other paradigm shifting books for women. So this piece is called Reclaiming, and I chose it because it has got that energy of reclaiming. It doesn't specifically talk about energy, but it does talk about other things about that we can reclaim. So we are the descendants of generations of women who were told that they were sinful or crazy. We are the descendants of generations of women who were not believed. We are the descendants of the women who had to hide their ability to heal on pain of death. This is the time of reclaiming. We are reclaiming the lost feminine and birthing it through our shameless female bodies into the modern world. We are reclaiming lost feminine voices and self-expression and listening to them at last. We are reclaiming our communities as places where these values are cherished. We are reclaiming our magic. We are reclaiming healing ritual. We are reclaiming our intuition as a valid and necessary way of knowing. We are reclaiming our connections with each other, the natural world, and directly to soul and spirit. We are reclaiming a direct connection to our own life force. We are reclaiming the wholeness of ourselves, our lightness, and our dark. We are reclaiming the traditions of our people, forgotten, punished, ignored, supplanted, gratefully relearning the ways of other healers from those who have kept the traditions alive against all odds through times of peril. In this, the time of the great unravelling, it is time to reclaim our birthright. So that seems even more on point than it did when I chose it. Now I've seen the cards for this ritual as well. So I hope that you have enjoyed being here. I just want to take just like a very quick moment at the end of here now, just for us to check back in with us, with our energy. See if there's any shifts from when we started, when we first joined together here today. Hopefully you feel some of that energy returning to you now, and know that you can repeat the meditation, you can repeat any of the things, any of the spellcraft, the journal prompts, the tarot from this ritual whenever you need to. Okay, so warmest blessings, and I will see you very soon. Hopefully, I think next week's video, I'm not sure actually what next week's video is going to be, so it'll be a mystery, it'll be a surprise. But yeah, if you like this one, then you should probably like some of the other rituals and things I've got here on my channel. So thank you so much for spending some time with me. It's been really lovely, and I'll share those cards over in the Discord community for you guys to have to reflect back on for this moon. Then I'll probably put them in my journal as well. Yes. Yeah, Nicole saying I feel like I took back more space for just me. Brilliant. Thea saying yet another brilliant session. Oh, thanks, Thea. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to say goodbye, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.